Okay. All right. So this is attempt number 2 today. What we're going to do is install and set up EVNG Pro on what is that? That is a NUC Hades Canyon i7 4-core mini PC. I'll see mini PC. I think it's like a gamer's PC, but it works pretty well for me. I like it. I like small computers. I can carry them around. I can configure them on customers' premises and do demonstrations and stuff like that. So I like them to be small. I like a small computer. So the NUC is small enough. Let me see if I can blow this out. So this is just on my desk right here. So we've got here on the bottom, I've got my ESXi host 6.7 latest patch. So on that I've got EVNG, strangely, sure. I've got a Windows host, I've got a Linux host, I've got an Open Indiana virtual machine as well that I use for some random stuff, just for laughs. But the top one is going to be a bare metal EVNG install, so no virtualization, no nested virtualization, what I should say, because obviously EVNG runs its own hypervisor, right? It's running its own QEMU, virtual images, KVM sort of thing. So it is a hypervisor. You just don't want to make a hypervisor inside a hypervisor. You want to try and get the best bang for your buck. And the best way to do that is bare metal. Now, not everyone is lucky enough, I guess, to have their own machine on the side there to install stuff on. I am. I don't count my blessings every day, but I am blessed. So I do have these machines here that I can use in a lab, but they are for customer demonstration purposes, right? So, you know, bear with me on that one. Give me a bit of a break. Okay, so look, the top one is going to be bare metal. It's not going to be running anything, no ESXi, no Proxmox, no VirtualBOX, none of that. So we're going to go ahead and install UBUNTU server first of all, and EVNG supports only 16.04 right now. I know the guys are working hard to get that to support a newer release from Ubuntu, but 16.04 long-term release is the one that everyone supports anyway. For long term, so it's fine. I mean, it's not out of date, and there's still patches available, so it's all good. So let's just minimize this back to where it was. All right, so I'll leave that in the top right, and I'm going to share my screen. And what we'll do is just quickly, we'll write a flash image to a USB. Now on my Mac I use Balena Etcher, which is or Balena Etcher, which is what I use to write my images on Mac. But on Windows, I'm trying to think what I used. It'll come to me. Bear with me on that one. But let me get the USB. Where did I put that USB? Ah, idiot! It's right here. So I've got this SanDisk USB. Let me just quickly drop that onto the window here. Let me just blow that up a little bit. So this is the USB, and I quite like this one because it's USB A and USB 3, but Type A and Type C, and you just move this little slider and you can choose the one you want. So I carry this one around for me a lot. It's good for engineering. Now this machine does support both types. But just for today's demo, I'm going to use something that I know will work, and that is USB Type A. So I'm going to bring my camera around. Let me just, if I can not pull any wires out, that would be great. So on the, I mean, your PC will be different, right? But you're going to have a whole USB slot to put your device. So we're going to do that. Just drop that in, and then on your desktop, you should, let me just get rid of that one and go to the screen capture. You should see something like this. So the disk you inserted was not readable by this computer. Initialize, ignore, or reject. Like on Windows, you'll probably just see, I don't know what this USB is. Or if it's formatted for Windows, you might just see, yeah, I've got a new disk. What do you want me to do? So it's up to you. Or I mean, it's not up to you, but you'll see different things. And I guess I'm just saying, just plug the USB in. Get hold of your writer of choice. I'm trying to remember what the hell that was I used. I wish I could remember. If it comes to me, I'll make a note to tell you. But anyway, you're going to flash from a file. I already downloaded the Ubuntu ISO image earlier today, so that's this one. You can see that I've got the ePro ISO. I don't need that because I'm not going to build this bare metal machine using their image. We're gonna build it using a custom image that we're gonna create, but using their HOWTO. So there's nothing special about this. We're just following their HOWTO. So choose the ISO, open that, select the target, which should be this Ultra USB, and then flash it, and you should get prompted for a password. It's not that one. Okay, so that'll take some time to flash, not too long. And while that's doing that, I might go and grab a water because I need a drink. Okay, I didn't leave. Let's get this done. Let's get the install started, and then I'll zip and get a coffee, get a water. Anyway, look, you might get another prompt. You may not. Probably will on Windows. If it was formatted for Windows, NTFS or MS-DOS, and you now formatted it as Linux, Windows may say there is a drive in the computer that I can't recognize. But anyway, the point is you've written it. So we can close this down. And now on the PC, not on the PC, yeah, on the PC. Let me just put up my camera again. So on the NUC now, yeah, take your USB that you've just written, pop that in any of these USB slots. Should be all we need. Let's power this on, and if I'm quick enough, which I hope I am. I'm not being very fast right now. I wanna basically shrink this flipping camera. Okay, let me get rid of that. So you can see that the PC is booted. I mean, I'll leave that in the top right there. So here's the PC booted now in this boot prompt, where I've install Ubuntu server and a bunch of other things that you can do to test existing installs or customize something. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead with this first one. We're just going to install Ubuntu. So hit enter on that one. This should go away. Then boot the USB image, and then give me some choices. All right. Now my PC is running. Has got a US keyboard attached to it. Almost all my keyboards are US. Working in the Middle East, I don't read Arabic. I don't speak too much Arabic either. But the keyboards, you can pick up US or US international keyboards. So that's what we've got here. So language, English, obviously. United States, keyboard layout check. Now it's a US keyboard. It is US keyboard. All right, so that's it. You just go through the keyboard choice. That's pretty much it. What language do you speak and what keyboard type do you have? So pretty easy for me, just having the standard US keyboard, all the defaults. All right, now I've got a prompt for network interfaces. This NUC has got 3 interfaces. It's got 2 onboard gig Ethernet interfaces and 1 Wi-Fi interface, which is sometimes they don't have that. Depends on which model you buy. This one does. So it's only showing me 2, strangely, the Wi-Fi and the gigabit Ethernet. Well, I'm going to use the hardwire because I've plugged that into my switch. So we're going to go with that. I can probably show you the back, but no need really, right? I mean, I don't know. So here's the back, and what you've got going on there. There's just an Ethernet cable. You know, the other things are QSB keyboard, HDMI interface, power cable. That's it, really. Nothing special going on there. I'll leave it on that view. It's a little bit nice with the skull or whatever. You can change those colors, which is quite cool. You can make them like dark green, dark blue, whatever, dark red, whatever your favorite color. So we're choosing a host name for the box. This doesn't matter because further on in the process, you'll have to change the host name anyway. So we can leave it at the default, but it's up to you. Doesn't matter. All right, now this is a name for a user again. With EVNG, you log in as the root user, but for now, we'll just set up a new user. So I'll choose Richard. And yeah, Richard, and I'll set a password there, and another one, and I don't want to encrypt my home directory, so we'll spin forward a little bit. Now it's going to check for an NTP server. It'll just do a broadcast. If it can't find one, it'll use the ones that are built in. So my time zone is Asia Dubai, so we'll say yes to that. And so now it's going to copy the data onto the NVMe drive. Now the NVMe is just a typical Samsung NAND NVMe. But one interesting thing that I will mention while I can is that the NUC actually, so say in the documentation of the NUC it says it supports only a 16 gigabyte SODIMM per slot. But what I found is you can install 32 gigabyte SODIMMs. So I bought these. I don't know if the camera can focus on this. Maybe not. Let me try the other camera. Yeah, that's better. All right. So you can see it's a 32 gig DDR4 2666 CL16 SODIMM. The original ones that I had were these Vengeance SODIMMs. So originally inside the NUC I had a pair of these. These are 16 GB DDR4 2400s, I think. Can't remember. Or in fact 3000s. But so which gives me 32 gigs per NUC, which is fine. You know, I mean, it's great. It's a lot of RAM. But when you're virtualizing a big network or a big platform, maybe you want to put some servers in there, like I don't know, some Windows workstations. Before you know it, your RAM's gone. So the best thing to do is to increase your RAM. So the most you can get inside one of these NUCs is 64 gigabytes. That's 2 times 32 gig SODIMM. So that's what I've done. Even though it says the maximum it supports is 32 gigabytes total, there are 2 SODIMM slots, 2 times 32, 64. Job done. All right. So that was just a little bit of background there. So the NVMe inside the unit is a 512 gig Samsung 970 Pro NVMe. We're going to install this USB on that. Do you write the changes? Yes, write the changes. Partition seems to what's this now? As a result, the old partition will retain the new. You should reboot now. What's happened? Partition 1 or 2 has been written, but I have not been able to inform the kernel. Strange. Let's try that again. I didn't set up a logical volume this time. I just told it to use the entire NVMe. It seems to like that a little bit more. That shouldn't make too much difference to us. We're not going to add any more disks to this thing. It's pretty much full. Wow, I don't really get the problem. Well, let's ignore it. I don't know if that's a cool thing or a bad thing. The EFI system partition failed. All right, let's see what the hell's going on. Guided partitioning. Maybe we can just try this again. Guided, use entire disk. Manual. Let's do a manual. All right, what's this lot? Can I do things in here? Okay, delete the partition. Let's do all these things again. Delete the partition. Delete the partition. Okay, that's the SAN disk. All right. So, guided partitioning. Hopefully, finish partitioning. Write to disk. Let's do that. No root file system. Yeah. Okay. Let's do the LVM again. So this should be so it's not picked up the NVMe. It's only picked up the USB. Wow. Okay. Not sure what to do now. Maybe I stuffed up somewhere. Let's turn the PC off. This will be fun anyway. Let's turn the PC off and let's check the NVMe's installed properly. I think that's probably the best thing we should do. First of all, let me grab this microphone. See if it can come with me a little while. It cannot go very far. Why? What's wrong with that? Okay, hopefully that came far enough. Let me. Where's my toolkit? Toolkit. So to take off the top, it's a I don't want to say hexa. Is it a hexa screw? I don't know what you call this. That's not going to fit. Let's try this one. All right. So this is fun. Oh, in fact, let me turn that off. That wouldn't be fun if I blew it up. In fact, what I should have done really is just check the BIOS, because I was tinkering before and I may have changed it. So let me just loosen these screws and then we'll just do a quick reboot, and I'll just check the BIOS is set properly. We'll reset it to factory defaults or something. Let me just reboot that PC. Okay. Wait, sugar, missed it. F2. So I'll just load the defaults on the BIOS, make sure it's back to where it was. So F9, and then yes, and then let's save and exit. Let's see if it. Oh well, it'll certainly boot, but let's see if it recognizes the disk this time. Or I'll pop the top and we'll swap it out, and we'll swap out the NVMe. I do have another one. Bootable device. Oh yeah. Although that should have booted. So I guess nothing's working now. That should have chosen the USB boot. So now it doesn't even see the USB. Oh my goodness. What is going on? So I've just put the USB in the rear, one of the rear slots. See if it's see if the front, maybe you can't boot off the front. Slots. No? Wow. Okay, nothing's working out now. It doesn't want to go in even. Okay, alright, now it's in. So, what the heck? Well, it seemed to boot the first time, and now it doesn't want to boot after the BIOS update. Well, not BIOS update, BIOS factory reset. Let's go into the BIOS and see if it even sees the NVMe. All right. Ah, yeah. So it can't even see the NVMe. I mean, or at least it can't. It doesn't look bootable. So let's have a look. Devices. SATA. I'm not sure actually where we'd see it. I thought we would have seen it on there. Where would we see it in there? Surely. I would have thought we'd see it there. So it recognizes the memory. It just doesn't seem to want to show the NVMe drive. Huh. So let's pop the top. Maybe I didn't seat it properly. Yeah. I mean, I think it would show it there. So yeah, let's pop the top and see if let's see if I need to seat it again. All right. So back over here, I already loosened the screws, so I've powered it off. Let's pop the top. Don't want to lose the screw. Now there's another screw in here, but it's just this typical crosshead screw. So there's my driver. Yep. All right. So this is one screw here, and then you're in. This is why I love that. This is another reason why I love the NUC so much. It's just so easy to get to. and then we're in. So the NVMe, it isn't seated. Oh, maybe it is. It's just the sticker's not straight. Let me pull it out anyway, and then let's reseat it. Although it did seem to be in pretty well. Let's do that again. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit loose. Let's see. So just one screw there. Press it down. Screw it down. And pop the lid back on. I won't screw the screws back in just yet. Let's power it on and see if the BIOS recognizes the disk. Okay, so I'll power that on. Oh crap, missed it. Alright, I just want to see if the BIOS sees it. Although I would like the USB to come back on again. I don't like the way it can't even boot off it anymore. Great. Okay, so I mean there it is. So you can see the I must have seated it badly because I'm an idiot. All right, cool. So now let's try and boot this USB. And if not, then why not? I don't know why, because it worked before. Did they even see the beep? No. Let's do it again. F10 is the boot choice button. So it does see, it's trying to boot the SSD, but it can't see my USB, so I don't know why. This may be another BIOS thing. I don't know if that's supposed to automatically update the boot menu either when I jam this in. I would have thought it would do, honestly speaking. Let's yeah, weird. Let's reboot it. This is frustrating me now. I'm absolutely convinced that should just boot up there. And this USB disk definitely works. Oh, blow me. Let's try it one more time. Stick it in the rear of the device. Maybe the front doesn't allow USB boot. Alright, so you know what I can do? I can try USB-C. Let's try that. Let's try that one. Okay, well it's not recognized it there. Let's do this again. Doesn't like that at all. Well, this is frustrating because I'm pretty sure this is fine. So maybe it's another BIOS option to allow it to boot USB. I can't imagine why. Can't imagine why. Let's go into the BIOS anyway. Alright. So we're looking for USB or boot order, something like that. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so there's boot. Maybe this power boot drive order. It doesn't seem to like this at all. I would have thought it would show up there, you know. Fast boot, what's that? Boot from a network optical removable disk will be disabled. Okay, well that's good because that's not. Boot USB first, let's have that, why not? USB is enabled. Thunderbolt USB. Okay, maybe. And now we're boot disabled, and that's fine. Secure boot. If enabled, BIOS will only boot from trusted operating system images. I think we need to turn that off. Let's save that, let's try that. Let's see. The USB is plugged in. and USB should have booted first, so if it's gonna work it should work, and it's not. Well, I don't know what to say. This stream might be cut short pretty quick. If I can't even get a boot USB to boot, what kind of guy am I? Pants. Ah, I pressed the wrong one. I should have pressed F10. I did check the BIOS is the latest version, and it is definitely the latest version. Didn't expect so much drama. And I did try this the other day. In fact, the ESXi server that sat right next to it, underneath it, is an exact clone of this one, and it works fine. So I don't understand. Yeah, it doesn't recognize that USB at all. I can try writing it again. Maybe we can do that. Let's try it in the back one more time. Now we've enabled that. See, I would have thought it would come up in that. I would have thought it would come up in this list as like potentially bootable. So I'm surprised that it doesn't show it. But it's definitely not booting, is it? Let's try the USB Type C. It did say Thunderbolt, which this is not, but I'm hoping that's kind of what it meant. If not, I'll have a look for another USB key. Or I can rewrite this one. I'll write this one again. Okay, so that didn't work. Let's try this one again. Let's turn that off. Let's try writing this one again on the Mac. Alright. So let's get rid of that. Let's share that. Do that. Click that. Press that. Go here. Go there. Alright. So flash from file. Ubuntu server. Open. Target. SanDisk. Continue. Flash. Password. Just doing exactly the same as last time. Same thing. Go through the same motions. Almost lost a screw. Okay. You know what? I think I said ignore last time. Let's say eject this time. Not that I think there's a difference, but you never know. They can get corrupted, can't they? So let's pop that out and pop that in. Turn it on. Let's go back to OBS now. Drop that screen capture. Here we go. So this should boot or not. And it has. Okay, so it was the flash. All right, brilliant. Right, well, here we go. Nice. Let's install Ubuntu server, and hopefully this time also it'll say the NVMe, and then we're all good. So English, US, no detection, US, yeah, I'm in the US. And the fan's kicking in, so it must be doing something. That's good. Okay, so network interfaces again. We have the onboard gig Ethernet, so we'll go on that one. And hostname, this is not important. EVNG changes it anyway, so we'll just leave that where it is. You can change this later anyway. So new user, let's say it's me, and that's my username, and that's my password. So same as before. We're just going through a basic setup now of Ubuntu. No, nothing specific for EVNG just now. So we're getting the NTP information from over the network, so it'll tell me where I am in the world. Just like before, should say Dubai. That is correct. And hopefully we'll get to the disk partitioning and it will recognize the NVMe. And that's where we need to be. So guide, use entire disk. Yes. So I've got two options, and one of them, yeah, better. Remove the existing, yeah, sure. Write the changes, yes indeed. Alright, so we're going to say the full disk, so we're going to write the whole full disk. Force UEFI yes. So the NUC is a UEFI machine, so we need to write to a UEFI MBR. Write the changes to disk, yes. Well, this will take some time. It's going to download all the packages from the USB key, and then I don't know if it does. No, I don't think it does do a patching. It just does downloads, just gets them from the USB, and then after that we'll have to do an update on the repository, and then we'll do an upgrade on all the packages, and then when that's done, we can install EVNG with the lid off the computer. I just noticed. Probably should have screwed that down. But anyway, we were just testing. It's okay, we were just testing. Where are we now? No proxy. No proxy. So once the EVNG's in, I'll grab some images for some devices. I'm just deciding whether I should crack open the CML ISO. So with Cisco now, the viral's no longer around. You have to use this CML2. No, don't install updates automatically. That's another thing I don't like to do. Automatic updates, because if it's doing it himself, you can't control what he's doing. But yeah, the CML2, I used it. I used it for about a day, and then I was like, oh my god, no, not again. So viral version 1 was bad enough, and then all the version upgrades after that just never seemed to be good. Nothing was ever solid, right? And you'd install it, and then it would break, and you'd reinstall it, and it would break, and it just became more of a chore to take care of the dev environment than to actually learn and do stuff. So I binned it off, and then CML2 came out, and everyone has been expecting that for years. So I installed it, and within a day, I'd kicked it into the road again. No point. Might as well just stick with EVNG. It's the only one that I can use that's stable. Every time I use it, it does what it's supposed to do. Even GNS3 does my head in with that crazy virtual machine you have to load somewhere, and then you have this other piece of software that manages it. That feels like viral to me. You got viral. What was that thing called? The VM Maestro. So you'd use VM Maestro or vMaestro or whatever it's called to manage the viral virtual machine. And GNS3 feels the same. It's all just like, why? Just don't bother. EVNG is stable and fast and supports everything. It's just stop thinking about things too much and just get on with studying. Don't jump about. I was watching something last night about Linux distributions, and I'm a big fan of Linux, and I've been using it since about '94. And the first one I got came on was it on a CD? I bought a CD for sure, and it had 4 versions of Linux on it: Slackware and Yggdrasil, and I guess I don't want to say Red Hat because I'm not sure if that was a thing, but yeah. So, and I've used all of them. Well, not all of them. That's ridiculous to say that. There are so many different versions now, but I kind of stuck on Ubuntu, which is fortunate because that's what EVNG uses. I've used Red Hat, the Red Hat Enterprise, and the CentOS. What was I going with this? Oh yeah, the versions of Linux. So everyone keeps changing the version of Linux. They're like, oh, I think this week I'll change it, and format change. Oh, I don't like the design of this one, I think I'll change it. And really they're just changing the front end. The underlying nature of Linux, GNU Linux, is fundamentally the same, especially with GNU, because all the packages are the same across the whole thing. It's just the way that the package them up inside the distributions that changes. So I guess if you don't like something too much, change it, sure, but I think but mostly they're all the same. Everyone seems to get their rocks off with Arch Linux right now, saying Arch Linux, you got to be real tough not to do Arch Linux. But I don't see the fun, to be honest. Installation is complete. Continue. I mean, look, I'm using a Mac, and everyone hates me already for using a Mac, right? Let me pull the USB out. I think we're done with that. So no USB now. It should boot. This is the installed on the NVMe. And then we'll just do a package update to get all the latest from the repo, and then we'll do an upgrade to upgrade all the stuff that's on there. Then we'll jump into EVNG and patch up EVNG and copy some images onto it. So how long so far? We were 35 minutes. But a lot of that was me messing around with the NVMe because I messed it up. Okay, let's log in as Richard then. So that should prove that out. I didn't fat finger the password twice. Great. So we'll just sudo. We'll just do an update. And an upgrade. Ooh. How many megabytes is that? 218. All right, should be quite quick. Yeah. So don't think too hard about your dev environment. Just make a choice whether it is GNS3 or CML or even G. Just choose one and don't jump between them all. It just takes so much effort to relearn a platform. It doesn't seem worthwhile, honestly. So I'd say just choose one and don't think about it too hard. So this is going to take a while. I don't know how long it will take in reality, but hopefully not too long. So EVNG, yeah. If you install it on VMware Workstation, Player, Fusion, VirtualBOX, whatever, it runs fine. I've got no problem with that. I'm just trying to say nested virtualization isn't as efficient as bare metal, and that's one of the reasons why bare metal install is always going to win. I did have a copy of Eve running in Proxmox KVM hypervisor, and it didn't work. It literally couldn't spin up anything. So KVM nested didn't seem to work very well, whereas KVM nested inside ESXi seems to work okay. And one other thing which always seems to be a bugbear is trunking. So if you're doing Ethernet trunking between virtual machines, wait, not virtual machines, yeah, I guess so. So if you're doing Ethernet trunking between virtual instances, like say you've got a Cisco router and a Cisco switch and then a Juniper router and whatever, and you're trunking them logically together within the simulation, within the what do you call it? Yeah, between the virtual environment, it's all good, no problem. Trunking will work, that's fine. But as soon as you want to break out from, let's say, when I'm doing a demo, I'll have the NUC with a cable connected to, I don't know, a server or another switch or something like that, and then across that cable I'm doing ether channel. Well, yeah, maybe ether channel, but I'm doing trunking. It doesn't work. Like 9 times out of 10 doesn't work. There are tweaks you can do in ESXi where you can set up things like the VLAN ID and you set it to 4095, I think. And if you set it to 4095, that's good. You can then it'll support it, and you have to set the interfaces to be what's the word I'm looking for? Promiscuous. So, but if you set the interfaces to be promiscuous mode, and you set the VLAN ID to be 4095, then maybe it'll work. Maybe. But 9 times out of 10, no deal. So bare metal, it'll work. So we've done the update, we've done the upgrade. That should be it now. We can reboot the box and get ready to install EVNG. The product itself is very well maintained, and the guys have written a lot of great documentation. So I'm going to go through this bare install from this point onwards. We were okay up until that point, but from this point onwards we'll in fact, no, there's a step that I want to just take you through. So when the computer boots, we'll quickly just check its IP address. I think I set its IP address in the DHCP server already. I just want to check. I just want to check its address. So its address is 42. So I didn't want to set that, but anyway, if you look, 192.168.32.42 is the address it's got right now. I want to make sure that's a fixed address. Now you can edit that in the config file. You can set it to static and put the IP address information in there. But for me, quickest way to do it is get the machine to boot and then set a static lease in the DHCP server. My DHCP server is a Synology NAS that sits in my home. It's only a 2-bay NAS, a couple of $100, nothing too mental. I could have done it on the router, but I didn't. But this is the box. So under, let me start from the beginning. So under Control Panel, you've got DHCP server. Under DHCP server, you've got an interface that you've enabled it on, basically. If you go under Edit on that, DHCP clients, you'll see one of these, which is this one, and this is the one that I want to set as a static. So I'm going to lock it out, I'm going to edit, and the next address that I can use is 24, maybe 21, 22, 23, 24. I'll set, I'll give it a break. I'll set it to 26. Okay, so I'm going to set the static IP 26 against this MAC address, which is the MAC address of the NUC. Alright, so that's that done. Now nothing happens until you refresh, and rather than refresh, I'm going to, oh, what an idiot, I wasn't sharing, I'm sorry, wait 1 second. Alright, so on my screen share now, let's do that again. So under Control Panel, DHCP server, you've got the network interface, you can edit that. Now on a router or on a layer 3 switch, you can do this in there anyway, or maybe you've even got your own server doing your own thing, Windows server or whatever. Even a Linux server, which would be nice. But for me, Synology is quite simple to be done. So all I've done is I've set this static lease for 192.168.32.26 for the Ubuntu node that we've just brought up. That's the MAC address of the node. So when we reload it, it should come up with 26, and at the moment it's 24. So let's just come out of that. Oh, now let's reboot it. If I can do a reboot, not be root, yeah, I can, great. So when this comes back, it should be 26, and if that's the case, I should be able to SSH onto it. So let's just boot it up and then go to my ZOC, and I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to make it 26, and I'm going to set the login to be me. Hopefully it's booted by now, let's see. There we go. Alright, so this is, hopefully you're seeing this, I've not closed out, I am such an idiot. Alright, so this is my ZOC connection. So all I've done is basically SSH onto the Ubuntu server. So this is now just a a normal SSH service connection to the NUC. Alright, so nothing else has changed, this is all fine. And the reason I've done that is it's easier to copy and paste, because I'm not a massive typer. Let me just become root. Because I have to be to edit some of these files. First file we want to change is the hosts file. Now evng wants to be called evng, so we need to set that up first. Example.com. Oops. Evng. That's the first thing. The host name also needs to be evng. That's that and that's that. What else do we need to do? The SSH. So it needs to be able to log in using root. So you edit this SSHD config, and if you just search for the word root, you'll find permit root login, and it's not permitted. So we'll just rem that out, comment that out. I'll copy that and just set it to yes. Get that space there. I left. Now the next step is a bootloader edit. Now the bootloader edit does screw up sometimes, and it annoys me, and it may do it again, so I'm a little bit nervous to do it. Copy and paste below this one line into your terminal. So you see, on all it should be doing is changing the way that the network interface is called. Basically, in the Ubuntu instance here, if we do an IP address just to show the IP information of the system, you'll see that the interface name is ENP5S0. You've also got EN01 and a loopback. All right. Now, you'd want to see, look, for me anyway, coming from the past. You'd want to see like F0, F1, F2, F3, and have this incremental F thing going on. But now there seems to be this method with these really long network interface names, which I don't understand. and no one understands or cares to, as far as I'm concerned. So this command here basically just changes that from being ENS5 blah 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 to Ethernet 0. Now, I'm nervous to paste this in because the last time I did it, it really screwed me up. I mean, that bit's fine, that bit's absolutely fine, but for some reason, the last time I committed this, it screwed up my boot. And I can't. Sorry for yawning as well. I just need to know that I'm not going to stuff this up again. So I've got it's added this line in there, this grub command line default. I don't know why that would break the boot, but it did last time. It absolutely did. It wouldn't boot again. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. It was something to do with the UEFI loader, and it just stopped working. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's just do it. So we're going to do update grub. I mean, it's done. I'm just super nervous to reboot this. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be smacking myself on the bum because it didn't work last time. The network interfaces, then we can now share. We forgot one step, so let's just do that. So etc network. In Ubuntu, there's a file called interfaces in this folder, etc network, and in there you'll see that the name of the interface is written. Because we've rationalized it and got rid of this strange network interface name, we can just set that back to Ethernet 0. If there were more than one interface, you'd have Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2, and so on. So that's that. Let's do one more than that. I just want to make sure that happens. Okay, we'll do a reboot now. I think I've done all the steps. I don't think I missed anything. Yeah, I'm nervous. All right, let's do it anyway. Let's do it. Let me pop back to the boot. Oh my goodness, it seems to have booted. Well, that is a relief. The last time I did that, it just really screwed it up. Or maybe it was when I installed Eve. Anyway. Here we are with a booted system. Hopefully I can also reconnect on this one, which I can. And you can see the name EVNG, so it's all taken in. Let's now go into here, and we'll just do the next step, which is basically install EVNG. Let's go and have a look. I'm going to install the Pro Edition, which is this one. So I just need to basically get this bash shell script, and then it will execute in bash all of the commands in that script, and then let's install. It'll take a while because it's going to download all of the packages from the EVNG repo, and then it's going to it's going to download all the packages, then it's going to install them, and then we'll need to do a reboot. So it's going to take a few minutes. Hopefully I can fill it with some stories. I don't know what to say. I think one of the interesting things about EVNG, and one thing that certainly a few of my friends have mentioned to me, is its age. I mean, it's been developed over a very long time and incorporates lots of really old stuff like Dynamips, which is something I used back in 2009 when I was studying for my CCIE, and I think that's testimony to how long this project's been going on and the quality of the platform. And on occasion, I've had to reach out to their service desk, and the guys are on the ball, man. You can get them. I'm not going to say any time of the day because I don't know. I haven't got personal experience every time of the day. But if I've been on late night, jump on the help desk, someone's always there to help. The last time I had to do something, there was even a script problem. What was that? Let me think what that was. It was Junos. I was trying to boot a Juniper router, and there was a bug in the EVNG in one of the Python files that didn't permit or didn't allow for a long boot time and a configuration load. So you'd basically have to wait for the Junos to boot inside EVE-NG, which takes ages, and it's not EVE-NG's fault. Junos just takes ages to boot. So it would take a long time, and then once it was finally booted, EVE-NG had timed out. It was like, okay, look, I've forgotten about you. So there was no way for it to load its default config, so I'd have to copy and paste the default config or the lab config every time I wanted to use these things, and the labs were big. You got 20, 30 routers, and then you have to copy and paste every time. That's a real ball ache. So I went on the help desk and I told this guy, and he was super kind. And he like 20 minutes later, he reached out to me, and here's the script. Here's the new script. So I downloaded that, patched my system, and bosh, I was away, and it worked first time. So the guys in EVE-NG are really on the ball and really good. Now, I've used GNS3. I've used CML. I've used Viral. And they're all fine. But when I sit at my desk, like today, I'm very fortunate to have some time today. And when I have time, I like to work. I don't like to be messing around. Like, this is why it was so frustrating with just now with the SSD not working. I don't like wasting time. I like things to work. If they don't work, then that's not cool. I mean, it's good to have a fault. It's nice to work through things. Sometimes it's nice to have a challenge. But I don't want the challenge to be setting up my environment. I want my challenge to be learning new technology, and working on that premise of getting best effort. I don't want to use anyone else but EVE-NG. It works every time, and also the scalability, the flexibility of it. It's just endlessly patchable. Like, every time someone brings out a new image, as long as it's virtualized in some way, and even some things that aren't, you can bolt them into this thing and spin them up. The CML2 product that came out a couple of weeks ago, I downloaded it either the same day or the next day. I was an early downloader, not like I was unique. Wow. I'm sure lots of people downloaded it on the same day, but I installed it and I ran it, and I like to think I'm a power user, but I guess I'm not a massive software engineer. I'm not a big coder or anything. Fundamentally, a Juniper image needs 3 disks. You have 3, like if you've got VMware's VMDK images, right? You'd have 3 VMDK images, or in KVM you've got 3 QCOW images. CML2 doesn't allow you to install any more than 1 hard drive. So, you can't boot a Juniper image, and I guess that's fair enough. It's a Cisco platform, but at the same time, why would you not want to boot something else? I think you would. I would, and I did, but I can't because I couldn't. You know what I mean? I wanted to, but in the end, they lost my patronage because, again, they stumble at that hurdle of how much effort do they go to provide a service to people who may not necessarily be using their product. I'm rambling a little bit, but I wish they'd taken the effort to support multiple. And you can see, actually, it's funny because in the interface of the product, you can see that it can take more than 1 disk image, but the other options are grayed out and you can't enable them. So there's one where it's like a boot image, and one where it's like I don't know, can't remember what the exact syntax was, but it was like there was a boot image and there was like a data image or something like that. So you could possibly have 2 disks. But Juniper, they need 3. The VMX needs 3. So you're hosed, unless you use an earlier image, which is what you ended up doing. So you can boot Juno. You can boot Junos VMX version 14.2 or something, because that only comes on 1 disk. But anything later than that, no chance. Or you can run loads of other stuff, pfSense or MikroTik or whatever. If you need 1 disk image, you're okay. But any more than 1, no chance. So we're installing Eve, and now then. So the first reboot seemed to go really well, and I was very pleased with that. We've now updated and installed Eve Pro. I don't see any errors. I didn't see any errors, but I can see that it's done a kernel patch, which may or may not go well for us when we try and reboot this thing. Let me just see if there's any steps I've missed. So we did the Pro install, and then there's a management IP. So this will take some time, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if we need to do this. Let me just open this in a new tab and see what's going on there. I don't necessarily want to install the Dockers, and these do take forever. They are huge images, so I'm not going to do that while we're doing this live thingy bob. Oh wait, what's this? Distribution upgrade. Ah, wait. Ah, oh no, you can't. Yeah, see, so it still only supports 18. But interestingly, it talks about a dist upgrade, which is basically moving from 16 to 18. Do not upgrade to 18. Do not run release upgrade. Apt dist upgrade. I'm pretty sure that was a distribution upgrade. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I'm wrong. I don't know about this IP mammy jammy. I think we'll find out. When we reboot this, it will now then ask us to go through the Eve setup. So it'll say set up a root password, and it'll say what else would it do? Host names and things like that. So I'm just going to quickly set the root password because it may ask us, and I may not know it. So Eve. And I think we're done. Do I need to do another group? Shall I do that again, just for laughs? Because it's done a kernel update, I think. So I just want to make sure that it does bloody boot, or we're all knackered. I'm going to do a reboot, and my fingers are crossed, my toes are crossed. And if it doesn't work, then we'll revisit this. You know what? I think I've just gone through the whole thing without the screen capture running, so you've not seen anything that I've done. You've just seen a black screen. Sorry for that. If you see a black screen, you've got to say something. I've got the chat window just down here, but no one's typing shit, so you get it. If you don't ask for it, you don't get it, you know? What do I say? And it's black, and now I'm panicking. It's doing that thing that it did last time, where there's no screen output. Well, damn it. This is exactly what it did last time. It's like it just doesn't work anymore or something. I have seen things like this where it's EVE-NG itself, when it boots up, it comes up with a splash screen, and the splash screen doesn't start. So it looks like you've got nothing there, and you have to wait a few minutes, and then it times out, and then you see something. So I'm kind of hoping that's what it is. But right now, I'm not seeing anything. I think we can still connect to it over the VTY, so we're going to do that. We're going to do an SSH terminal. But it's not helpful when the screen is dead. All right. So I've just SSH'd into it. The HDMI is dead. Don't know why. We're going to put the Eve password in, and hopefully that will work, which it didn't. Can't change password. All right. Well, none of this is going to work if I can't change that password. It seems to have logged in as me. That's right. It's because I've logged in as me. All right. Let's edit this and log in as root with the Eve password. Now let's log in. Okay. What's the root password? Eve. Repeat the root password. Eve. What's the short name? That one. What's the domain name? That one. DHCP. Type the IP address, the NTP. Don't bother. Direct connection. Don't bother. All right. So now it's done. It's patched, and everything should be operating properly. But the HDMI thing, I've got no answer to that. And it's a funny thing. It just sits in this dark black screen now. That's it. It's like it's dead, but it's not. It boots fine, and you can connect to it, and everything seems fine. So there's something about this UEFI bootloader that just naffs it up. Right, back to the desktop. Let's log back in. Oh, connection refused. That's not a good start. Can I log in, please? I'm hoping it's booting, not giving me the finger. All right, there we go. All right, so we're in, right? And so it's patched. We're in. I still got a problem with this screen display showing me sod all. But that's okay. We don't need that anymore. As long as this is working, we're good to go. So this is all installed and all patched. So the next step would be let's just check if the web interface is working. Let's go to Safari and or your browser of choice, and we'll go to 192.168.32. What did I say? 26. Privacy thing. Show details. Visit the site. visit the site, and my password. Alright, so that's all good. I mean, the fact that I've got no console output on the HDMI, not too stressed out, but annoying, but not too stressful. I think I have seen this, and I will say that I think in time it does come back with a prompt. It's probably some part of the startup script that's not running, and it's just hanging there. But the fact that I don't see anything, I think it's that no splash thing. It just hides, or I don't know. Actually, I'm making it up. I don't know why. Anyway, there we are. So we're in this prompt. We can log in now as what is it? Is it? I can't remember. Is it root Eve? No, admin Eve, admin Eve. All right. I'm going to save that password. So this is what you'll see when you've installed it, but there's no license. You can see it's unlicensed. So now you need to go through the license process. I do have an old license somewhere, so I'm going to quickly get that. I'm just going to drop this this screen share while I have a look for it. You can have a look at the black HDMI screen of death while I search for this damn file. Let's see, open recent. Let's have a look. Let's have a search. Sure, I get this somewhere. What's that one? Nope, that's not it. Oh my goodness. When you need it, and it's just not cool when you can't find it. You know what? I can probably pull any of the old licenses from my email. So let me just try that, and then I'll sort it out when you've all gone. Let me just do a search here for whatever. All right. So I've got a license file. I think if I can just flip in, do that. Okay. So let me just share my screen again. You go to EVNG if you're gonna buy the Pro anyway. You go to EVNG and you can go to actually, is it buy? No, yeah, you go to buy, buy now, buy the license. Then they'll send you this license file text, and then you go into under EVNG your licensing license request, and you say whatever you want to say. Now, because we're in bare metal, none of this matters. You know, he's got the maximum CPUs, and that's your lot. Wait, shoot. Yes, that's what you do, isn't it? Okay, so I do have to go through this. So I'm going to say okay on this. It's going to then give me some output. Wait. I may not need to do this. I may just be able to upload the license. So let me just do that real quick, and then I'll see if it applies. So you paste that in. You won't see this, but you paste your text file in from your thingy. It did say license successfully applied, so I'm going to assume that it's all good now. License information, and there's my expiry date. Which should mean now that everything's done, and so what we can do, not that it'll work just yet, but let's add a new lab. We'll call this test lab or something like that, and you can put it in there. So live stream test lab. Now save that, and when you click on any of these, you can add a node and you can drop something in there. So all we can do at the minute is drop a couple of PC nodes on there, but let's do that. And then connect them together, and then start them up. and then see if they work. Now, I've connected with the HTML5 interface, so you can see that works, and that works fine. So there you go. Hey, that was a chore.